We have got a man that certainly will know most things about safety. Martin, are you there?
Good evening, Jerry.
Hello, my love. Now, this is Martin Donnelly speaking on the phone, of course, ex-Formula One driver. And Martin, you certainly know a thing or two about safety in Formula One, don't you?
Well, personally, I haven't been through a life accident myself, and very fortuitous to be here tonight to speak to yourself.
For people that are sort of wondering, I mean, obviously Jules Bianchi, he's in hospital right now. You must have experienced all sorts of different parts of emotion, your recovery, and at the start, what is it like being in that situation, you know, sort of knowing that everybody else around you is talking about you and your recovery process once you're in hospital?
Well, it's very hard to explain and to get across unless you've personally experienced yourself. But from my own personal point of view, all I kept thinking about was getting back behind the wheel of Formula One car, because I didn't fully appreciate the full extent of my own personal injuries, more because I was obviously kept away from pain, from the morphine fed, and you lose touch of reality, and you just think, get out of this hospital. If the accident didn't kill you, then the food in the hospital probably would have done. But it's to get out, and I said the girl at the time was a guy called Sid Watkins over at the garden camp in Austria, and he was the guy responsible for getting Niki Lauda back into F1 6 weeks after his Ferrari accident at the Nordschleife, and Gerhard Berger. And all my mind was focused on was getting to him. Here we have his magic wand, and within 2 months, maybe 3 months, I'll be back racing as per se.
Well, it's fantastic, obviously, that you are here today to talk to us. Now, there's so many different things open and out for discussion at the moment. One in particular that we've just talked about in the studio is this concept of closed cockpits. Now, there's obviously two very different sides of the story. One, that it may make head injuries a thing of the past, but it also may make things like fires much more dangerous in Formula One. Being someone that's obviously sat and raced in a Formula One car, what is your opinion on a closed cockpit?
I think, first of all, we have to not make a knee-jerk reaction. Closed cockpits in single-seaters have been experimented with by the FIA. I mean, those things in themselves bring their own problems. We discussed today restricted exit. For example, if the car ends up being upside down, how does the driver manage to get the canopy off? Dirt on the windscreen or the perspex counter that restricts visibility, as in Suzuka with the dusk and the darkness and the heat. You know, how does the driver and the team control the heat elements in severe climates? So I can't really see, personally speaking, that being the answer. I think, you know, as the FAA are doing their own tests, I think it works in other formulae throughout the world, whereby you get into a sector that is controlled by double-waved yellow flags, and the FIA can, like pit lane restrictors, control the speed of cars from the entry to the exit of that sector, so no driver gains an advantage or loses an advantage, and everybody goes through there at a controlled speed, and everybody then feels that there's been nothing lost but everything gained. Regarding safety, you've got to help drivers from themselves, because drivers are honed, well-tuned athletes who know nothing but going flat out from the age of karting to F1. And everybody likes to try and gain that unfair advantage. And if that advantage is taken away from them, but they're led to believe that nothing's gained or lost by anybody else in the race, then it'll help resolve that issue.
Certainly will. Now, Martin, I'm joined in the studio by Andrew, and I believe that, well, I know you both know each other as well, but I believe he's got a question for you.
Yeah, Martin, I mean, do you think that in the particular incident with Jules there, I mean, do you think a closed cockpit would have helped? I personally don't think it would.
Personally, no. I mean, he hit that recovery vehicle, the tractor. They roughly get about 110 miles per hour, and it more or less severed everything from the tub, the roll bar, the safety structure. Everything went, and they reckon he did something like about 200 G. Now, my accident, as severe as it was, and I thought I was in something bad, at 42 G was nothing in comparison to what Jules has gone through. And as I said, I don't think anything you put there safety-wise, either you surround that the recovery vehicle by deformable structures or something in front of the driver's head. I mean, as I said, it was very, very unfortunate for Jules. It's very, say, wrong place, wrong time. But we have to protect the public, the recovery vehicle and marshals, and the drivers themselves. And if we can take the speed and risk them away from these sectors when these blue-wave yellows are thrown, especially in a snatch and grab situation, which was happening there and then we have to do it right, mostly for the respect for Jules.
Most certainly. Now, Martin, I'm also joined in the studio by Phil Duncan. He's a Daily Mail online writer. Phil, have you got a question for Martin?
Yeah, Martin, obviously it's been a few years since you were racing. You must be encouraged by how the safety has progressed in those years since you finished your days in the sport.
Oh, massively. I mean, for one, it's a technology. It never ceases and is ongoing. And, we have to learn from this. And the thing is that it would be a total discredit to Jules if nothing was done and nothing learned. From my Ayrton Senna's accident, we produced hands devices to help drivers in the front impact to save their necks, which has been fantastic. The driver safety cells, the cockpits are now stronger, they're wider and longer for the drivers in the form of accidents. We've got head restraints, we've got side impacts. Even the drivers' helmets have now become more robust by using carbon fibre. And lastly but not least, these wheel tethers to stop wheels flying off, hitting drivers in the cockpit or other spectators or other people on the track. So everything has been moving forward. Motor racing will never, ever be safe. You cannot be naive and say, oh, you'll never have an accident. You have an accident in a Mini or in a saloon car. Today is the first anniversary of Sean Edwards' accident in Australia. You should remember him. He got killed in a saloon car. So all we can do as the FIA is try and implement these preventive measures to make sure that it is safer and try, as I said, to protect everybody involved within the sport from these dangers.
Certainly. Well, thank you, Martin, for taking the time out to speak to us. It's really been lovely having you on.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.